instructional videos for the 4th Street Software football game. We're going to do a sample play involving a fumble in this video. Now, plays from scrimmage involve rolling 5 dice. The D20 is going to give us our players matching up. The D12 is going to call the defense for us. The D10 is going to be used to find out who wins the matchup of the players involved. Both D6s added together will go to the team sheet's player cards to find a result code. And a second D10 can be rolled simultaneously to get variable yardage for those result codes. Alright, we're going to do USC versus Stanford, and for this example let's run the fullback off tackle. These are the old play cards originally from the game. Take a die roll here. Now the D20 is a 17. 17 is out in this flat linebacker area. And also it's the fullback's A rating. Fullback A 16 through 20. So we're going to use USC's fullback's A rating, and we're going to check for a defender in this outer flat linebacker zone based on the D20 of 17. Now I'm looking at the D8 to get a defensive play call. We'll just use some simple defensive play setup. Now in this case, from my play sheet, I get the standard 4-3 defense. Stanford's playing a 4-3. Play sheet called for defensive play A, which is just the standard alignment. The 4 down linemen across the blitz zones, the 3 linebackers across the flat pass zones, 3 secondary across the medium ovals, and the free safety in the deep long pass zone. Okay, so out on the D20 of 17, we were looking for this outer flat pass zone, linebacker short pass zone, and we see in this case that in this play the right linebacker is positioned there under the A standard play. So the right linebacker for Stanford happens to be Mike Simone. Let's kind of zoom in on him. And the fullback for USC is Dan Scott. Now let's go back to the play card, and we see that we're interested in fullback Scott's A rating, and up here in the flat zone we're interested in the defensive player's A ratings, in this case Simone's A rating. So we got an A rating going up against an A rating. And so for Scott, that happens to be an 8. Under the A, 8. And let's look at Simone. Right linebacker, A rating, 4. So we got 8 minus 4 is 4. So we're going to look at the D10, and on 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we're going to go to fullback Scott's card. And on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we're going to go back to Simone's card. And the D10 is a 5, so we're going to Simone's card. And the 2 T6 added up together are a 3, which is result code 54. Result code 54, looking up on the result table, gives us a 0-yard gain with a possible fumble. Okay, so now we got to go back to Scott and look up his possible fumble rating. Down here, that happens to be a 16, fumble 16. So let's re-roll the D20, and we got an 11. So in fact, Scott has fumbled. Okay, let's see who recovers this fumble. Now we got to roll the 2d6 again, but we got to read them separately this time. So let's roll them one at a time. First number is a 5, second is a 5, so that's 55. Red is 55. Now the offense would have recovered if I would have got a result of 11 through 35, but in this case it's defense 36 through 66. So Stanford has recovered this fumble. Now we have to see who recovered it. And in fact, there is one chance left for USC to recover this ball, actually by the ball going out of bounds. So we're going to re-roll the D12. 1 through 11 will correspond to the token number on the defense. 1 for the left defensive end, 11 for the free safety. But a 12 will indicate that the ball actually fumbled out of bounds. Now this can't occur on sacks or fumbled snaps. This is a play from scrimmage, so let's see what we got. Lo and behold, 12. USC is going to retain this one with the fumble out of bounds. Now I personally added a few wrinkles to the fumble procedure, one being the returnability of fumbles. Most fumbles are not returned, they're just pounced on, so I've tried to incorporate that into my specialized rules. And I've also incorporated fumbled snaps. Now let's say this ball didn't go out of bounds, and it was Stanford who recovered. I would re-roll the D20, and only from 1 to 7 would I allow a return. 8 through 20, I would term that the defense just pounced on this ball and there's no fumble return possible. 12, no fumble return possible, if in fact it had not gone out of bounds. Now also another wrinkle is I've incorporated fumbled snaps. Any time on the D12 that an 11 is rolled, I treat that as a possible fumble snap, and I'll look at the 2D6, and if I also got an 11 there, in fact, I will use the center's fumble rate, which are all 20s, they're all 20, so it's an automatic fumble, and I would treat the procedure the way I just described the fumble procedure previously. And as we further discussed, if it had not gone out of bounds, and let's say the token for recovery was a 7 for Simone, and he's the one that actually forced the fumble and recovered the fumble, and the D20 was a 1 through 7 that it could be returned, we would look at his return rating, RET here, G31. We would go to the result code under the G column. His long is 31, and here's the frequency of 5. So instead of on a 2, his long frequency of 31, a 30 to 39 yard return, is on the 5, not the 2, under the G column. Okay, that'll do it for fumbles.